Afraid of the dark? There are places where you don't want to be. Deep mines are scary enough as it is, but if you want to find out more about them, you can get really creeped out. The Ringwood Mine in New Jersey seems, at first glance, to look like a normal mine. It was once a thriving mine and was the largest producer of iron in the world. In the early 20th century, it was abandoned, but curious tourists still visit it. In its heyday, thousands of workers worked there every day in incredibly dangerous conditions. The mine often had cave-ins and regular accidents. The men were severely underpaid, despite the harsh conditions and dangers. Imagine what it would be like to be paid less than $1 a day for spending most of your day in great depths in mud and sunless light. But that's not what scares people these days. They say there's some kind of paranormal activity. Locals claim that there have been sounds of footsteps and voices coming out of the mine even years after it was shut down. Some have seen strange silhouettes walking past their houses at night with flashlights, just as the workers used to do from the mine. Some have heard strange noises. However, there is no evidence that it was anything paranormal. In those days between the late 19th and early 20th century, there were no precautions to ensure safety and health. People needed to work, and it was a quick way to make money. So they tried not to think about the danger. Imagine you're one of those workers finishing a shift, and suddenly your lantern starts to go out. You pick up a match and try to light it again, but to no avail. Soon you realize there's no one around, and you're all alone in the mine. You gather your gear and follow the chain of lights that have been laid out specifically to guide you. As you make your way along the narrow path, you hear the sounds of voices echoing off the walls. At first, you don't pay much attention to it, thinking it's just the acoustics. But then you listen and realize that the sounds are coming right out of the walls, and they're too thick to let anything from the outside. You press your ear to the wall, and you hear someone calling your name. You run as fast as you can to the exit of the cave. The lights begin to flicker, and the voices grow louder and louder. The sounds mingle, becoming an incoherent mixture of strange rambling, from which you understand only your name. You break out in a cold sweat, and your heart starts pounding. You have no idea which way to go because everything around you looks the same. Suddenly, you hear a rumble coming from the depths of the mine, and then there's silence. You are enveloped in darkness. That's how you would feel if you were a miner in those days. But let's get back to the spooky stories. In West Riding, England, the memory of the oak mine still inspires terror in the local community. Barnsley residents remember that on December 12, 1866, it was the site of one of the largest disasters in British history. The gases in the mine caused a massive explosion, and the fire that broke out raged for several days, destroying all the equipment and wooden supports. Finally, more than 100 tons of coal collapsed into the mine, which sealed it up forever. Recently, people in these parts began to notice something strange. A team of paranormal experts decided to investigate the place to find out what was going on there. In their search for the unusual, they went all over the place. In the end, the team came to the conclusion that it was a very strange place indeed, but they couldn't find any evidence that it was haunted. In the early 20th century, in Alaska, in the western part of the Wrangell Mountains, there was a silver rush. The mining district of Tonopah, which is now a museum, was part of a park that contained many buildings, blacksmith shops, and a hospital. And while this story is not much like the previous ones, it is said that this mine is haunted. Some think they are ancient spirits, while others think they are the souls of prospectors who used to work in the mine. If you're brave enough, you can book a guided tour of the area with a guide, and the more intrepid can do it at night. Mining has always been a part of our history. The first metals to be mined were gold and copper. Scientists have even found copper pipes more than 5,000 years old. Copper was necessary for a new phase of human development, for self-protection and trade. Have you ever heard the expression Irish fortune? It was coined during the gold and silver rush in Western America. The Irish were not afraid of work, so they often had good luck. In 1863, the Vulture mine in Arizona was booming because of the enormous amount of gold there, and the spooky name didn't scare off the fortune seekers. Gold was mined there until 1946, but periodically the mine would close for a while. Researchers decided to check it out to see if anything strange was going on there. It was said that unusual noises were being heard there, but the locals did not like strangers and forbade them to go near the mine. The Atlas coal mine in Alberta, Canada, was opened in 1936 and closed in 1979. The coal was mined there to produce electricity and heating. The mine consisted of 2 shafts that were connected at the base by a tunnel. The mine owners began to build houses for their workers and their families right next to the mine. Then came a school, a hospital, and a library. But in 1979, because of an accident, the mine closed and the mining town was abandoned. Many people said that there was a light on in the houses, even though no one lived in them. There were also strange noises coming from there. From time to time, something quite remarkable is found in the mines. A giant titanoboa skeleton, for example. This giant snake lived about 58 million years ago, was more than 12 meters long, and weighed as much as a modern rhinoceros. Workers in Colombia were mining coal when they suddenly stumbled upon the fossil of a titanoboa. At first, they thought it was an anaconda, but it was much bigger. What an amazing find! Imagine walking down a mine and stumbling upon old cars from the 1930s. In 2016, a Belgian teacher exploring a French mine discovered tunnels that led him to the cars. The collection of cars is believed to have been hidden during the war. The cars have rusted, but have not lost their value. If you want to visit the world's largest freshwater diving resort, go to the Libes mine in Bonterra, Missouri. This mine operated until 1962, and then the company that operated it shut everything down, including the water pumps. Water began to fill the mine, and in the 70s 3 levels were completely flooded. The place became known as the world's largest underground freshwater lake. Much of the mining equipment is still underwater, and you have dozens of miles to explore. Sounds cool? Thank you for watching this video. Share your opinion in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to new videos. Stay tuned.